Greetings, everybody. It's good to be here this evening. I'm on my own, and here I am in Pretoria East. But I have some great news. Dr. Wong has arrived in South Africa. Now, you might be asking, who is Dr. Wong? Dr. Wong is a venture capitalist who who's invested in a number of businesses in Malaysia and Singapore, and he has actually now come to South Africa, and he will actually be sharing his knowledge on Saturday at a one-day event together with the Da Vinci Institute or the Da Vinci Business School here in Pretoria. And I would highly recommend that you come and attend that. It's going to be an absolutely amazing event. It's early on Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, until about 3 o'clock. And you come through, it's only 200 Rand. And I mean, what an opportunity to actually meet, first of all, a international tycoon, and also a man who has actually taken over 16 different businesses to IPO. So come and join us on this coming Saturday. And I must say, you're going to really have an amazing time. And if you want to join, you can go to the CEO Business Club. There is a post there regarding this, and there's a link. And you can actually link and come along and join and register. So I'd highly recommend that. And then for those of you who want to do a little bit more investigation and understanding of what the capital mechanism is all about, I would highly recommend you come and join our MOC. You might be asking, what is MOC? MOC is Miracles of Capital. And what Dr. Wong does, he actually takes us through a 3-day seminar where he actually takes you and he actually teaches you what the capital mechanism is, but not only that, he shows you how to use it within your business. I've actually attended 3 of these events, and I'm actually going to be there also on Monday. It's Monday the 18th, 19th, and 20th. It's going to be at the Klein Kaap. And if you really like to learn about actually how to take your business to another level, then I would highly recommend that you come and join us. Dr. Wong has done this a number of times overseas. This one is going to be number 27th in South Africa. And not only will you meet Dr. Wong, but you'll actually meet a number of like-minded people in South Africa who have actually been through the course or will be with you partnering in going through it in the first time. We've got a few repeats. People do tend to come again and again and again, not only for the knowledge, but for actually meeting the right like-minded people who actually wish to grow their business. So I'd highly recommend that you come and join us at the MOC. If you want to come, you need to obviously register soon because the space is limited. And obviously we've got conferencing facilities that we need to arrange and so on. But it is a full on, 8:30 for 9 until 5, 6, sometimes 7 o'clock at night. I know that on Tuesday we're going to have a function afterwards, and so this is going to be really a fantastic event, and I really highly recommend you come and join us. But tonight it's more about what we're going to be talking about is pitch practice, and I want to take you through a few steps now. This evening we're going to do it a bit differently. Normally what I do is we do an audio room, but tonight we're not. We're going to be doing it like this, and the reason is just to do something different. Why not? The other times you don't see my face. Now this time you have the opportunity of seeing my face, which is great. Some of you will recognize me from the Motivational Mondays that I do. Now those, I normally have a beard there, but now I've actually taken that off and make myself look a bit younger. One needs to do that as one gets older. But what I'd like to really do is talk about the 30-second pitch. Now, what is the reason for having a 30-second pitch? Well, it's about telling somebody what you do within a very, very short time. Now, you might think 30 seconds, wow, that's very short. It's actually not really. You can actually put a lot of information in there. So what I want to do is I'd like you each to, who's ever listening, think about your business, all right? Now, the other day I went to the Investec breakfast then at Santon, and I had the opportunity of meeting a number of people. And there was one gentleman I met, and I basically got a meeting with him. Why did I get a meeting with him? Because, first of all, I listened to what he had to say to me. I told him who I was, and I told him what I did, and I told him about the pain point that I resolved, and he immediately said, "Okay, I want to have a meeting with you." And it was fantastic because he actually sent me the meeting request before I could even do it. So it was absolutely fantastic. And so that's the advantage of actually having a recited business pitch that you can use very quickly. Actually, at the same event, I had the same thing where I had to go along and I was going up a lift. Now, they call this an elevator speech. So I had the chance of actually doing a proper elevator speech in the elevator. And yeah, at the end of that, I got a business card. And I contacted the gentleman, and yeah, I'm going to meet him next week. So a fantastic opportunity, and let's see where that takes us. So it's all about meeting people and telling them what to do. Anyway, let's get on to the nitty gritty of a 30-second pitch. So now, one of the things about a 30 seconds pitch is that you need to actually, first of all, introduce yourself. Now, there's two ways of doing this. The first way is to tell them who you are. I'm David Bauer from the CEO Business Club. And then next to go on and talk about the pain point. Now, you'll notice that if you are a BNI member, that's Business Networking International, you've probably been trained because they have a lot of training in networking and how to do a 30-second pitch or a 60-second pitch. And one of the things that makes it very interesting is to actually maybe put the problem first so that people are suddenly awake and interested in what you have to say. So it doesn't really matter. It's up to you if you want to say your name first or the problem first. So the structure of a 30-second pitch is very, very simple. The first thing is to say who, now I'm going to do the first one. Say who you are and what business you represent. Now, one of the things that one must remember is at the end to say it again. Because what happens is when people actually, they're not listening initially. So, they might not get your name. And they say, that was a very interesting concept. I need to get hold of him. What was his name? Now you've left him and you've gone on to the next person and he can't remember your name. So always say your name twice and your business name twice. That's important in the beginning and the end. So first of all, go along and say your name and your business. The next thing is not what your solution is, but what is the problem that you resolve. So, for example, in CEO Business Club, it's about breaking through that glass ceiling in business. Now, what happens at glass ceiling really? What glass ceiling? Well, in business, there's a situation where people get to a certain level of revenue or sales and they just cannot get through that. And there's a reason for it. And what we do at the CEO Business Club, we help people get through that. So the problem that I'm resolving at CEO Business Club is helping businesses to break through that glass ceiling as far as their revenues or sales is concerned. So now the person would be interested. Okay, what's this about? Maybe the person doesn't fall into that category and he doesn't really understand what I'm saying. But then I'm actually eliminating the people who are not my ideal clients. So it's actually a good process. The next thing is a solution. So I then create more interest by saying, I teach the capital mechanism opposed to the market mechanism in order to create abundance and break through the ceiling, the glass ceiling. So again, now I'm offering the solution. Now, if the person's interested in this, obviously then I'd really have captured their attention. The next thing is to move on to, now remember, you only got 30 seconds, right? So you need to move on to the next phase, which is now more detailed. And now you can say how they must get hold of you. In other words, the call to action. And this is so important because you're going to be, perhaps in your networking group, you're moving through a whole lot of people, and you don't want to get stuck with one person because that's not networking. That's caring, as we say it in Afrikaans. You know, you don't want to care, you want to network, and therefore you need to move on. So what you got to do is tell the person how they can get hold of you. And what happens then, now obviously you can say, like, for example, I say, well, go to ceobusiness.club or ceobusinessclub.com. All right, those are the two. And I say, go and have a look at the website and contact me. All right. And then I say my name again. I'm David Bauer from the CEO Business Club. So now I've said CEO Business Club actually 3 times. I've said David Bauer twice. And then I say, could you tell me what you do? All right. So now he feels like he wants to talk to me, and he tells me, and then obviously if there's a connection, we can connect. So this is really important. You need to be very, very quick in actually getting your point across to the person, and then allowing him to tell you, or her to tell you, what they do. Now, one of the things that I find for me, which is fantastic, is in the past I used to use a business card, a physical business card. Now, I've got lots of business cards. And generally what happens is, you know, life comes about, you get the business card, you put it in your pocket, and then you go home and now you've got no idea who this person was. You might remember if the person had a good pitch. But more or less you'll put it on the side, and you know, what I used to do is I used to then go and capture it, which takes a lot of time. But there's an easier way to do it. And all of us who have a cell phone, who use WhatsApp, have a, what you call it, a digital business card. I don't know if you know that, but you do, right? So what you do now, obviously Android is different from Apple, always different, but different working system, different logic, etc., etc. But the issue here is that you can actually use the settings. Now, on the Apple phone, it's very easy because your settings is at the bottom right-hand corner. It's that like gear, right? And you can press on that, right? That's settings. If you're on an Android, what you do is you go up to the top. On the right-hand side, there are 3 dots, one under each other. And it's very much like Google. If you're on Google right now, you'll see that there's 3 dots on your computer, on your Chrome. You go to those 3 dots and you click that, and that opens up a little drop-down menu. And at the bottom is settings. You click on that. Now, when you click on that, what will happen is initially your a scan mode comes up. And on that will be your business card. There'll be a QR code with your details on there. Now, if you've set up your WhatsApp correctly, you put your name in and your company name, then it will appear in the right order. And what you then do is you scan that person's QR code, and you automatically get that number onto your WhatsApp. Now, the beauty about this is If you go along and add it to your contacts, it takes a while to get onto your WhatsApp. So you can't WhatsApp them for a while. But by doing it this way, it automatically goes into your WhatsApp. But then what you need to go in is say add or save, depending on which, if it's Android or Apple. You save the contact, and then it's already into your actual contact list. So you have all the person's details. Normally what I do is I always check if they've put their name as, their first name and second name, and then I'll take the second name and put that under surname, and then if they haven't put their company, I'll put their company, and I also put down a note about what they do, So the person could have a company's name that doesn't describe what he does, so then I'll write a quick note there as well. And then once I've got that person's details, what I then do, which is really good, is I go along to WhatsApp and I send them a message. And I say, hi, whatever their name is, I met you at such and such an event. It's great to meet with you. I'd like to meet with you. Now, this is the important person. I'd like to meet you to find out more about your business. Not about, I would like to sell you a product or I'd like to sell you a service. You don't say that. I'd like to meet you, have coffee to find out more about your business. And you click on that and you send it to them. Now, what I normally do is I do that, and then they get the message, and then they save my contact details onto their phone, so they don't have to scan me. And that actually works extremely well. But there's another technique as well, and I'll quickly share this with you. I was actually at a networking group about 4 or 5 years ago, and there was a gentleman there, and he said to me, may I have your contact details? And may I have your name? He said, may I have your name? And I said, I looked at him, and he gave me his phone. And it was already set up, for the contacts with the, to fill in my details. So he'd already done that. And I said, okay. And I took the phone and I put my details in. And then I made sure everything was right. And I added more details, because then I added my email and my URL and all those things. And I felt like, wow, this guy wants to know a little bit more about me. And I felt quite good about that. And then I gave him back the phone. Now, what did this gentleman do? He actually created trust. I felt that I could trust him more. And for the reason is that I gave him something valuable, and that's my name, right? And he gave me his cell phone. Now, cell phones for people are really valuable, right? They've got all the information on, and if you lose it, you're kind of in the drain. You don't know what to do. So now suddenly I had, I formed a trust bond with this gentleman. And I found it very, very powerful. And then I noticed him going around to other people and doing exactly the same. And I went to speak to him afterwards. I said, I really liked what you do. He said, yes, yeah. What did I do? I got you to fill in your details. You gave me your name. I gave you my phone. So there was a transaction, and I formed the trust. So there were two things that happened there. There was a transaction and a trust building. So that's a technique that you can use if you wish. It's a very good technique, or you can use the other technique that I use, let's scan. But I find that a lot of people don't know the scanning, the QR code and that. So that is quite unique, and people love it. So yeah, try that as well. And I must say, you're well together contact. Now, right, now you've got the contact, right? You've got the guy's cell phone, and what do you do next? Well, you've already messaged the person, so you now know he's on your phone, he's under your contact details, and you've actually WhatsApped him, and you've already told him, where you met him, and you asked him for a coffee. So what I do is when I get back to my office, I will sit down, and I've got a very simple process. Some people might have a CRM of some sort, but I just have an Excel spreadsheet. And what I do on that Excel spreadsheet, I'll write his first name, his second name, I'll write his cell phone number. And I'll identify the company that he works for. Always write down the company the person works for. And then what I also do is I go along. If I've got his email address, I put that in as well. And then I'll identify that I've met him, and I'll identify where I met him. I met him at this place or that place, wherever. So in the future, if I need to contact him, I can say, "Hi, Joseph, I met you at this place. Do you remember?" And then what I then do is I have a number of columns, and in those columns I have different things that I do. So I will identify when I phone him again. I'll identify if I have a Zoom meeting or an actual meeting, a physical meeting. I'll make some notes about that meeting and anything that we have discussed. So I keep a good record of, a little bit about the person. And then I do another thing is I go to LinkedIn. Now we're on LinkedIn right now, right? I go to LinkedIn and look up his details. And I go through it and I see who we connected with. I see what about. I see the company he's working for. I see his latest post, if he's active or not active on LinkedIn, and so on. And so now I've got a lot of information about him. But not only do I have a lot of information, I have the ability to create a relationship with this person, because I can talk to him about things that he's interested in. And that is where the trick comes, is that then that person feels more comfortable with me, and then we can have a conversation and I can take him to the next level of my awareness program with regard to what I do. And it's all about learning about his business. So one of the most important things is not just about the 30-second pitch. It's about taking the person through this whole process of getting to know him and building the relationship. And the big no-no, don't sell on the first date. They say, you don't ask a lady to get married on the first date, they'll say no, But a few dates down the line, you can maybe, if it's the right time, ask, and maybe they say yes, and that's how it works. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this evening. It's a little bit different from the norm. What we do normally, we do it audio, and then I invite people up to stage to come and talk and actually do their pitch, practice their pitch, etc. But I thought tonight I'll just do something a little bit different. And so I hope you really, really enjoyed this, some tips of how to do networking and so on. And remember, networking is not net caring, and it's not net eating, and it's not net drinking. It's actually networking. One of the things that I went to a very, very good network. I've been to lots of different networking groups, and on Wednesday I went to a very good networking group with a gentleman by the name of Forrest Will, I think. Mill, I think that's his name. Anyway, Kailami networking group, that's what they call themselves. And now, normally you go to one of these events and it's a little bit of a ha-ra-ra, and then you either have a 30 seconds to talk and then some accolades, and that's it, and then you have breakfast. In this case, or you go to a BNI, for example, you sit there for an hour and a half, you go through a whole very, very structured process, which is great, very disciplined, and then you have your 30 seconds, and then there's some accolades, and then you have your breakfast. So those are the normal practices that I'm quite familiar with. But in this case, this gentleman did something different. He went along, he first of all got us up, to stand up. He got us to wake up a bit. He asked us to meet the person next to us, meet the other person next on the other side, to touch the table, to touch the chair, move the chair, touch another chair. So it was quite a little bit of interaction there. You can imagine, people moving around, touching, and and that. Then he asked us to sit, and then he told us about his methodology of networking, and then he said, "Okay, now I want you to try it with somebody." So then, I'm not going to tell what he does, because then you must find it out for yourself. But you go and practice that. And then he said, okay, right, stop. He said, now the thing is, when you do this methodology, which is actually really good, maybe I'll tell you the next time I do this. Then he said, okay, stop. Everyone, the problem is when you start talking like this, he said, then you don't want to stop talking. And it was so true. It was like everyone didn't want to stop. So like, and actually the lady who I was talking with, he said, okay, try it with someone else. She carried on talking to me, and I wanted to go and meet with someone else. So she was very, it was just like that. And then we did it again. And he said, okay, guys, all right, now it's up to all of you to go and meet each other. And I must say, everyone was very dedicated to use his principles and actually meet each other. And it was actually very good. I must say, I really enjoyed that. So maybe I'll tell you the way next time I do this, which will be maybe in 2 weeks' time. So we'll see. But I see it's nearly 1:30. I'm going to close at 1:30. So I really like to thank you for being here. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please put some comments down at the bottom to let me know if you liked it or you didn't like it. If you want me to change something or not do this or invite people in, have a guest maybe, I don't know. You tell me, I'll do that. But the idea here really is for me to just impart some information and help you guys to network better. But remember, Saturday, there's Dr. Wong. He's presenting with the Da Vinci Institute, or what they call Da Vinci Business School here in Pretoria. There is a link in the CEO Business Club LinkedIn page if you want to go and join that, or just DM me directly and I'll send you a link for that. It's a really great program. I mean, it's 200 Rand. There's obviously food involved, so and that's only costed just for the food and the drinks. And then on Monday, the 18th to the 20th, we've got MOC. It's a really great program. I've done it, as I said, a few times. I'm doing it again. I must say it's very powerful. You learn a lot. But not only do you learn a lot, you meet some amazing people. And people that you can actually really go and do some real serious business with. So it's really worth it, and I'd highly recommend you do that. And if you want to do that, just DM me again, and I'll send you some details. I've got a letter, I'll send that to you, and you can decide what you want to do. But and time's limited because we start on Monday, and we need to finalize the conference facility, and if there's too many people, I'm not sure what we're going to do, but I think there are a few seats open still. So, please come and join us. All right. Well, I hope you've had a great evening. I'm going to show that little video again. The video is actually of the MOC itself. It's one of the ones that we've had here last year. Watch that, and then I'm going to say goodbye. All right. Good night, everyone. Have a good time and keep networking. Bye for now.